To you first, Richard. You're here because you're doing something surprising, aren't you?
Well, the truth is, Chris, that we won the battle of the referendum, but given what's happened in the 2 years since the referendum, we haven't won the war. And I think we at Leave Means Leave, like millions of people up and down the country, are truly appalled at the Chequers proposal that has been put forward by the Prime Minister and the government.
And what you've chosen to do is what, John Longworth? You're going to relaunch your campaign.
We're going to relaunch our campaign. We both set up Leave Means Leave to make sure that we have a clean and swift Brexit. The swiftness of Brexit has disappeared. The cleanness of Brexit has been sullied by the Chequers deal, which is totally unacceptable and outrageous and actually undermines the votes of the British population. So what we're going to do is relaunch our campaign to bring that campaign to the people of Britain.
And how will this look? What will it look like, Richard, your campaign?
Well, firstly, we've been using August, while many people have been away. We've actually been fundraising amongst donors large and small, and we've been astonished by the positive generosity of people who feel the same as ourselves, that actually something's got to change. Chequers has got to be stopped. And so, we've been raising significant money.
How much?
In order to, well, obviously, it's changing every day, Chris, to be honest.
Is it
every
tens
day.
of thousands of pounds?
We're in the hundreds of thousands of pounds, Chris, and that's growing, as I say, and will continue to grow so that we can launch, real significant plans, as John says, to take the campaign to the people so that Westminster politicians really understand the anger and the fury that's out there on the street.
So you're going out of the bubble. What will it look like? Leaflets? Well, is the bus coming back with a big number on it?
We're going to be revealing all at the end of the month, sort of so that people can see when everybody's back. But there will be significant activity because we just cannot accept what's being proposed at the moment. So it's going to be a very, very busy autumn, and we're talking to lots of people. We know, for example, that MPs are using this period. MPs who are actually out there talking to their constituents, they themselves are astonished at the fury that they're hearing from Leavers and indeed from Remainers who are saying, this is the worst of all worlds.
But
what's being
to be
proposed.
fair to Theresa May, and to argue the government's case, John
Why?
Longworth. Well,
why should we be fair to a Prime Minister?
I'll be a fair journalist here, Richard Tice, because she said we're leaving the European Union in 2 years. We're leaving next March. In terms of your issue of speed, she's given you the 2 years. You arguably could have done it quicker, but 2 years is when we're out. Cleanness is less clear, isn't it? Because we haven't got a deal yet. But we are leaving in March 29th next year, aren't we, John? So why are you trying to do a campaign to support the government?
Well, are we leaving? I don't see any reason why we should be fair to our Prime Minister on this subject. The fact of the matter is that she's heading for Brexit in name only, that this is a massive fraud on the electorate, which is being dressed up as the UK leaving. In actual fact, we'll be a vassal state of the European Union if we agree to the Chequers deal. The Chequers deal is only going to get worse as the EU continue to demand even more concessions. Chequers does not match what people wanted from this
Senior
referendum.
Tories are now arguing that they can basically renegotiate. Once we're out, if we can renegotiate. James cleverly said on this podcast 2 weeks ago.
Let's be absolutely clear about that nonsense. When we get this, if we get this done, people will be so exhausted, there would be a sort of collective just, that was desperate, thank God, but we will have left in name only. And the likelihood of being able to remobilise people and politicians to reopen this within the next decade is for the birds. Absolutely for the birds. And we must not leave in name only. And let's be absolutely clear about this.
Brino, they call it.
Brino. The reality is, we would be trapped. We would not be able to control our own laws because we're signing up to a common rule book for the whole of our economy, all our businesses, even though over 90% of businesses don't export to the European Union. We would not be in control of our own trade policy because other countries around the world will not want to even bother talking to us.
Because they can't do a trade deal on agriculture
because we're trapped in the EU rulebook, which many other countries around the world know is protectionist. It's incredibly inefficient. Lots of the rules are unnecessary. Frankly, they're daft. So we can't control our laws. We can't control our borders. And then they're talking about, instead of free movement, they're talking about a labour mobility framework.
which sounds quite similar.
That is Quango speak for exactly the same status quo as we've got.
John Longworth.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what Richard's saying. It is, most people who know anything about trade, and it seems to me that a lot of parliamentarians don't understand it at all, patiently, will know that actually trade deals are done in relation to non-tariff barriers, largely. Even if you can remove tariffs, which is not clear under the Chequers deal, we will still have a situation where trying to get good trade deals around the world will be extraordinarily difficult because there's no opportunity for mutual recognition. And that's what most trade deals are based on. And countries that have had huge success by removing tariffs and having mutual recognition, countries like Australia, Singapore, New Zealand and so on, have actually done so much better outside in the world of growth. After all, 90% of the growth in the world is going to come from outside the European Union in the coming years, not inside. That actually those countries have demonstrated the benefits of trade.
These are the arguments you made in 2016. Richard Tice, will your friend Nigel Farage be part of this new campaign?
Look, we're talking to politicians of all parties.
He's a journalist now, he's not a politician.
Well, he's a variety of things. Nigel is Nigel. We're talking to politicians of all parties. And actually, all
Tory
of them are
MPs?
saying...
Tory MPs?
We've been talking to Tory MPs,
How many?
we've been talking to Labour MPs. We're not going to reveal numbers, but all of them know, all these Brexiteer MPs know that this is basically a sellout and something's got to happen incredibly quickly because, the weeks are ticking by now. We've got somewhere between, 10 and 12 or 14 weeks to change the direction of Brexit. And it's incredibly important. And these Brexiteer MPs will welcome a campaign that's funded and that's able to get stuff done and will engage the people.
What's it called, Richard Tice? Is it called Leave Means
Of course it
Leave?
is, because
it's the same name.
It's Leave Means Leave because it does what it says on the tin. And we mean it, unlike the Prime Minister when she says Brexit means Brexit.
John Longworth, is it time for an EPM?
Well, that's entirely a matter for the Conservative Party. What it is time for is a new policy. If that means replacing the leader of our country, then so be it. But that's not a decision for us. We're not a political party. We are a campaign group who are trying to seek to deliver what the people of Britain voted for.
And Richard Tice's campaign will be outside of the M25. It'll be outside the west of the Beltway where we live and breathe. Will it be out in the Brexit badlands of West Midlands and Lincolnshire and his places?
You mean the Brexit goodlands, don't you, Chris?
I mean
of
the
course,
Brexit goodlands.
It'll be across the whole country because, that is where the interest is.
Yeah.
And so we'll be taking it far and wide. And, with tremendous social media, we'll be ramping it up. There's so much that can be done. We've been inundated since the Chequers proposal by supporters and new supporters saying, this is a disaster. What can we do?
Okay.
How can we help?
How about rallies or marches? I mean, given the Remainers are marching all the time at most weekends, it seems, in London.
We will be looking at all options, Chris. We'll be revealing a lot more at the end of the month.
This is a taster.
Well, it is. But what I can tell you is we are hiring staff as we speak. So it's been a busy August. Fundraising, hiring staff, lots of exciting plans being talked about.
And John Longworth, these donations that have come in to support the campaign, are they the widow's mite, a fiver here, pocket money there, up to your millionaire friends, John? Are they giving?
We have donations large and small. We have people wanting to send us money. And we are very grateful for it. By the end of the month, we'll be able to reveal all the things that we're proposing to do and the policies that we're putting forward. So this is a bit of a taster, as you say.
And I think you can also assume, Chris, that actually some of our donors are existing medium and large donors to the Conservative Party who, frankly, are asking themselves the question. The party is mainly supported by Brexit entrepreneurs. Why are we funding a party that is actually denying a proper Brexit that will actually give huge opportunities to this country? Why should we continue to support this party that is trying to sell us a pup, deceive us? So I think, the treasurers of the Tory party, they've got an interesting time ahead as donors start saying, thanks, but not for me at the moment.
And John Longworth, how would you characterise these next few months? Is it the battle to save Brexit in your eyes?
It's the Battle of Britain. Battle of Britain writ large, because the future of our country depends on what happens in the next 6 months, and we have a huge opportunity to chart a new course, a better course for the UK, which is what the people voted for, and we've got to stop the Remainers and stop Chequers from destroying that opportunity.
Richard Tice, last word to you.
Exactly. You know, the opportunities are so big as long as we do the job properly. You know, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. You know, half in, half out, a vassal state is not for our country.
Richard Tice, John Longworth, thank you for coming on to Chopper's Brexit podcast.